Is knowledge a zero-sum game? Knowledge, unlike finite resources, has always been expansive and cumulative rather than zero-sum. It is not diminished by dissemination. Instead, it grows richer and more complex as it is shared, critiqued, and built upon by a diverse array of open minds. When knowledge is treated as an exclusive commodity, held tightly by those who are assumed to be the only qualified authorities, it restricts the full potential of human understanding and progress. The notion of knowledge as non-zero-sum underlines the importance of accessible, open inquiry, which enables a wider range of perspectives to deepen and refine understanding across fields. This principle of openness is crucial to fostering a society in which individuals are not only well-informed, but fully empowered to engage critically with the world around them. To that end, a foundational grasp of critical thinking and problem-solving is not a luxury but a necessity for all individuals, as it forms the bedrock of personal autonomy and informed decision-making. Critical thinking involves the ability to analyze, evaluate, and interpret information objectively, thereby allowing individuals to discern truth from manipulation. This skill is essential in an age where information is not only abundant, but frequently manipulated to serve political or social agendas under the guise of authority or expertise. Problem solving similarly equips individuals with the means to engage with complex issues rather than passively accepting narratives presented to them. Without these skills, individuals are vulnerable to misdirection and may act against their personal interests or unwittingly support harmful agendas, presented as beneficial to society or personal welfare. Even within the context of legitimate expertise, the absence of critical engagement from the broader public can create a fragile reliance on expert opinion that stifles wider understanding and dialogue. Expertise, while valuable, is neither infallible nor beyond the reach of those willing to study and question rigorously. The assumption that only those with formal credentials can attain a comprehensive grasp of complex subjects not only limits societal growth, but can contribute to a culture of intellectual deference that discourages personal inquiry. Expertise is not always synonymous with objectivity, as experts, like all individuals, can be subject to personal biases, institutional pressures, or external influences. One of the most concerning elements is the rise of individuals who, while occupying roles as journalists, function primarily as state actors and propagandists, delivering predetermined narratives designed to shape public opinion rather than report on facts objectively. Under the guise of journalism, these individuals can erode public trust, often dismissing critical perspectives or evidence that contradicts the messages they are directed to promote. This pattern can deter people from conducting their own research and reduce discourse to a set of accepted opinions, precluding meaningful dialogue or debate. Informed scrutiny from the public serves as a necessary check that can illuminate blind spots and biases that even the most well-intentioned experts may overlook. The danger lies in the potential misuse of expertise, where individuals in positions of authority may leverage their status to control narratives under the pretext of public good or benefit. Such misuse of authority risks devolving into a form of social engineering that seeks to manage rather than engage the public, effectively treating individuals as passive recipients rather than active participants in societal discourse. When individuals are not equipped to critically evaluate the messages they receive, they may become susceptible to these forms of control, mistaking persuasion for truth. This effect is exacerbated when figures in power, whether elected or appointed, present themselves as experts without sufficient understanding or objectivity, potentially prioritizing personal agendas or the influence of those who support their platforms. Therefore, regardless of formal education or societal standing, individuals have the inherent capacity and, arguably, the responsibility to seek an in-depth understanding of the issues that impact their lives and communities. True comprehension does not reside solely in academic degrees or institutional credentials, but in the dedication to question, investigate, and reason. When knowledge is approached as a dynamic, collective endeavor, it facilitates a society in which expertise is respected but not unchallenged, and critical engagement is the norm rather than the exception. Such a society is not only more resilient against the potential pitfalls of misinformation, but is also empowered to foster sustainable growth rooted in genuine understanding rather than passive acceptance. The development of critical thinking skills and the teachings of philosophical schools, such as those advanced by Karl Popper and Albert Camus, have a great potential for shaping a society where individuals are able to engage with information actively, rather than passively accepting directives or unverified claims. These philosophies, though rooted in complex theoretical frameworks, address universal themes such as the search for truth, the nature of human agency, and the importance of skepticism, that, when presented in accessible and relevant contexts, offer valuable lessons for even the most general audiences. By reframing these teachings into practical, everyday, relatable, and understandable scenarios, individuals across a multitude of educational and social backgrounds can acquire the essential tools of critical thinking, fostering a populace that is both more discerning and less susceptible to manipulation. Critical thinking encompasses the ability to analyze information objectively, question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and consider alternative explanations. These skills do not require advanced training or academic degrees, but instead, only an open mind and a willingness to engage thoughtfully with the information provided. The fundamental concepts behind Popper's philosophy of falsifiability, which underscores the importance of questioning and testing ideas rather than adhering to inflexible doctrines, and Camus' views on existential choice and the responsibility to live authentically, illustrate how individuals can approach life and information with a greater degree of awareness and resilience. Such philosophies emphasize not only the right, but also the responsibility of each individual to question assertions and to assess claims rather than yielding to them without scrutiny. When these principles are contextualized in modern, relatable terms, they become lessons in practical reasoning rather than abstract thought, enabling individuals to apply them meaningfully within their daily lives. Educational systems and information networks often emphasize the need for expert guidance, yet the emphasis on expertise alone, without the accompanying skills for critical engagement, can foster a form of passive reliance. While it is indeed essential to listen to experts on occasion, particularly those with proven credentials and contributions in their respective fields, this does not negate the role of the general populace in critically evaluating the information presented to them. A society that fosters critical thinking does not undermine expertise, but rather, it complements it by ensuring that the insights and recommendations of experts are met with informed and reasonable inquiry. When people possess even the most rudimentary critical thinking skills, they are better equipped to recognize inconsistencies, identify biases, and question narratives that may be directed towards a particular agenda or interest, rather than being guided by objective truth. To achieve this, the lessons from Popper and Camus can be conveyed through methodologies and educational programs that focus on real-world examples, case studies, and the practical application of skepticism and personal agency. For instance, through a modern reinterpretation of Popper's insistence on the provisional nature of knowledge, individuals can be shown that scientific conclusions, while reliable, are subject to refinement and should not be equated with dogma. Similarly, Camus' philosophy, when reframed in the context of personal autonomy and ethical responsibility, can inspire individuals to approach life decisions with a greater sense of purpose and authenticity, rather than merely conforming to societal expectations or pressures. Providing people with these philosophical lessons in approachable formats encourages them to apply critical thinking actively, creating a society that values inquiry over blind obedience. When individuals are able to assess claims independently, they are not only more self-reliant, but also contribute to a culture where the influence of experts remains balanced by public understanding and rational discourse. This balance ultimately fosters a more dynamic and resilient society, where expertise is respected and valued, yet never beyond the reach of reasoned, accessible critique.
Please like, share, subscribe, and comment below.